Push up a little bit. All right, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Woo! This is going to be one of my shorts here. Don't want to get too deep into it today because I got more for you later on. So, and I know a lot of people are working and busting their butts today, so I don't want to overload you or myself anymore. So, for the facts of today is about cults. And how many cults are there? Well, there's actually probably, I would say, in the millions of different kinds of cults that are just constantly made up along the way, created, so on and so forth, all serving the certain purpose. But let me tell you the biggest cult of them all. Christianity is the biggest cult of them. Now, I've talked to you guys before that, and it's the truth. It's the truth. Where have you ever seen in anything that Jesus came and said there was anything about Christianity, Catholicism, all those religions that are out there? Never. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to get this a little detangled here because, yeah, it's a pain in the butt. But in truth and reality, ladies and gentlemen, everything is a cult. Everything. Christianity, Catholicism, so on and so forth, all the way back to the ones that they already call cult. But in truth and reality, Jesus Christ and God never talked about any such religion. You just had to believe in the Lord God and that Jesus Christ died on that cross to save us from our sins. That is it. So it was made up, every single bit of it. Because where did Jesus teach in a church? Did he? Did Jesus Christ teach in a church? No. Not at all. Not at all. That's why it would change history. A lot of things that if people knew the true meaning about being righteous, loving, caring. That's why I laugh at some of these people that say, "Oh, well, I'm not religious. I have this and that and blah blah blah." You're in a cult. I don't care. You're a narcissist. You're saying about Christianity being a cult. You're saying about this and that being a cult, but you yourself is in a cult too because of what you believe and what you're following. There's many people I caught in that, and some other people probably have caught. Wow. I caught two of these people constantly on a narcissistic level. I just don't say nothing on those completely on it because that's their opinion. That's their choice. So they're allowed that. They're allowed that. So I have no right to speak against that because they have chosen. Now, if there was a way to change it, now there is one person that I'm really close to in that, and I think he is on the level of possibly could, if you understand it. But listen, brother, I don't want you to change to Christianity. I don't. What I want you to become is spiritual, a spiritual man that believes in God, that understands His Word and what our life is supposed to be. And also that you believe that Jesus Christ came on this earth, help the people understand God's word and to open their eyes. Now, did God do, or Jesus do miraculous things yet through God? Yes. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Do I believe that Jesus Christ died on that cross? I want you to believe that, yes, because it actually happened. There's too many facts that play that. But I leave the choice to you, brother, to, if you rather not choose to do that or not. But I could teach you. I could teach you some of the truths. Okay? And we can get deep into it, brother. We can get deep into it. But we could do that sometime on a personal level if you want, or we could do it on here. Because I would love to other people that don't have that knowledge and that to be aware of it and respectively to make a choice on their own. Because a person can't make a right choice that doesn't know full on. That is the truth. That is the truth. But you gotta be on a level to understand everything as well. Okay. There are so many things that I've been listening to and doing research on, and it's a wonder that people don't wake up because there's so much truth out there. So much truth out there. But it's people. It's got to be the people that want to find it. That want to, change and understand Jesus Christ was, a good person that came on this earth through, a body of his mother, through his mother's womb. But to understand that, you got to understand Jesus Christ was birthed through the Virgin Mary. So therefore, Joseph was not his father, but a good man, knowing that God is the one that provided for that child. He raised that child, even though it wasn't truly his. So you got to respect that kind of story and understand the depths of it. Now, there is good men out there that willingly take on a woman that has children and loves her and her children. There is men like that. But you also got to understand there's women like that too that will guarantee know that the man that they're interested in has children and willingly will love them as well, as if they're their own. So that is basically what we should be doing all together, is loving and caring each other, because we're all brothers and sisters in this world. But there is truths compared to cults. And that's where the deception is. A cult is about deception. Well, there's a lot of deception in these newer Bibles. There's a lot of deception when you go to a church. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of scandals in that when they go to these churches. Because Jesus Christ didn't teach in a church. He didn't give any kind of wisdom in a church. He provided that everywhere. On the outside, along the way, as he's on the road, traveling from place to place to give out the word, and that's all he really did. So you got to respect a man like that. But that isn't all. You got the truths of Sodom and Gomorrah, proves that the stories are real on that, and they found Lot's wife. Sulfur balls of Sodom around Sodom and Gomorrah, which proved that the city burned. The city, a lot of it that's been destroyed, but also the some that's still there is all glass. All glass proves a extension of heat that came down and melted sand and turned it to heat. So there's proof there. You also got proof of Joseph with the multicolored coat. Now, they didn't find the coat, but they found his tomb. And then on top of it, they found the store where it was massive. It still had grains and stuff in it, where they stored their food and preserved it and all that for the famine. Noah's Ark been found. Tunnels. They're saying that there's tunnels. Well, of course, there would probably be tunnels. But you also got to understand there's more. What about Moses? Wow, that's the biggest one of all, Moses. That is the story that I love. Moses, in a great time of the evil Pharaoh, he was killing children because of a prophecy of a child, a male child. So all firstborn males, it's supposedly said, were, And then it went to oil mills. And then it went farther. That Moses was drifting in a weed basket in the river. And the Pharaoh's wife took him in. God did that. God did that. And she fell in love with this child and raised him along with her son, Ramses. Lo and behold, they did find Ramses in his father's tomb, along with his mother. But the story gets deeper about the stories of the plagues that happened, all which were true. It's proven fact when they looked back in history. And then the great time that Pharaoh Ramses II released the people. At least it's believed that it was Ramses II. We're not 100% on that. But if you really dig down deep, they found the area right near the river of burn spots that melted the sand, which shows that, there was a great fire that protected the people for a good long while from Pharaoh's army when he wanted to change his mind and come and wipe them out. And then you have the river itself. Now there is footprints that are melted into the sand in that as well. But if you really look at it, okay, they found the chariots and everything in that river. And it says that after the people all crossed and him and his army went through there, that the waters caved in. Okay? Well, that proves the story. I mean, come on. They're not just going to go right into the water and kill themselves. I mean, come on. So obviously the waters had to be parted. That would have to be true. And then they crossed in and boom, the waters came down, cave in, and wipe them out. Now, is it true that Pharaoh possibly lived? I would have to say it wouldn't just have been, Ramses that had to live. I think some of his people might have lived as well. Really do. But it shows proof of that. And then Mount Ararat, guess what? It's burned at the top. Burned. Moses went up there. And that's when the 10 Commandments happened. So do you understand that the stories are all coming to piece, and how are they gonna do that to make it up? Please provide me factual evidence that you think they just made it all up and just put that all there, and then it's all an entertainment show. When you can see clearly, 100%, that it's old, ancient. Proven fact. And there's many more. And then the fact is that Lot's wife was huge. We're talking about 9-10 foot. That ain't all. They found Noah and his wife's tomb as well, burial. And they themselves were 9 to 10 foot tall. And the bones, let him get that, the thumb, the fingers, all longer. Insane. You see, people, back then there was more oxygen because those mountains that you believe that you see, Devil's Tower and so on and so forth, that look like tree stumps were trees. Massive trees, which provided more oxygen and less what? Therefore, creating enough oxygen that it would build the blood and all that, blood expanding and everything else that it would expand in a body. So being birthed, the normal back then was 9 to 10 foot. The smallest person, I believe, was 7 foot. A midget, a little person. Sorry, I apologize. A little person would have been the normal five, maybe a little bit of the almost 6 foot. That to them was a little person. If you were 5'4", 5'9", or pushing 6 foot, you were a little person. So therefore, there's the understanding. So when you talk about Nephilim, you got to understand these giants, these Nephilim were way bigger. But do I believe that they were 20 foot? Now, there's a possibility that they could be that big. I've seen some things, but never got to get a measurement when I've gone in and swooped in when scientists and archaeologists found something that technically shouldn't have been found. We were called in, and yes, we burned it right there. We burned it. Sometimes created it off, depending on the location and how close it was nearby to civilization. If it was way out, far away from civilization, we just threw gasoline down and lit it on fire and kept fueling it until it went to dust. Others that were closer to civilizations, it would be noticeable. It was just grabbed quick, boxed, and shipped out on trucks, and then later destroyed somewhere else. That's just how it was. But yes, do I believe in the Nephilim? Yes, there is, and they're still around today. And there's still ancient people now today, which we call Bigfoot. Bigfoot is nothing but a caveman from an ancient civilization that existed years and years and years ago. So therefore, it would be falsely proven that 6,000 years is only when Earth had humanity. Bull. I've always called bull on that, even before the military, and then I went into the military and found out it was right. I was right. So therefore, it's all bull. Do I believe that mankind existed with dinosaurs or / dragons? Yes, I do. There is so much evidence, proven fact. But let's get back to the caveman. The caveman also would be a large creature, 8 to 9 foot, which how many have we heard of? Even 10 foot. Well, with as many sightings as possible, you're not seeing the same person. And the sightings are very frequent, large amounts of them. Military has been involved in these Bigfoot / caveman. And they themselves have listed not as Bigfoot, but as caveman. To the public, it's let out to be a Bigfoot. To keep you from having the knowledge that things still exist to this day, such as cavemen. Now let's look. If we go on, I want you to go on and find a whole bunch of these Bigfoot pictures. Really look at them if you can zoom in. And if you can do the 4K and all that, even the 8K they got now, try to get that and get that bone feature right there in that brow. I've done it. Old Homo sapien. I forget the name of it. But that's basically one of the first kinds. So you're trying to tell me that you think that all existence was wiped out. I don't believe it, because the dinosaurs aren't all wiped out. It's proven fact that oil rigs have cameras down there in the water, and it's proven fact that a whole bunch of prehistoric sea animals are still existing. Proven. Do you really believe a great megalodon has been wiped out? No, I don't believe that. I believe they do exist because there's things that are still going on down in them waters, and we don't have the whole ocean really explored if you really get down and deep with it. Do I believe in the 1800s, blah, 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 we went to space, even in the 1900s? No. Too many faults in that. Too many documents that also prove that we haven't. And even Neil Armstrong coming out and saying it never happened. I've never known Neil Armstrong to lie. That man, you could just look at him, and when he speaks, you can hear truth in his words. Now, did he lie because he was forced to? I believe that. I think he thought he was really going into space and that, and found out otherwise. Do I believe that he tweeted about the fact that there was a monstrosity evil under, when he went to Antarctica? Yes, I do. He had a heart attack. And that tweet was deleted right away. So, yes, I wholeheartedly believe that man. I believe they lied to him, and that's why he thought he was, I believe they lied to him. That it was for a good cause and that, because, we were trying to beat Russia. We're trying to beat China in the space. But unfortunately, we can't. But then all of a sudden they lost the technology and couldn't get to space. Then all of a sudden they have the technology. It's just a big game. Entertainment. And if you're going into space, like I've discussed before in some of my videos, you would have went straight up. It would not have curved. And the fact that if you guys are saying the Earth is flat, let's get to this point. Why hasn't those videos been scrubbed? Everything else gets scrubbed. But Earth's flat, Earth's flat, Earth's flat. Nothing scrubbed, nothing scrubbed. But they haven't released details that the Earth was, they keep saying round, right? Kind of fishy. How they delete and scrub everything else, but when you're saying about flat Earth, they don't. They don't tell pilots to shut up either. I believe pilots are paid to say that, oh yeah, the Earth is flat. I believe it. But yeah. But nothing scrubbed on that. Because that's fine with them. The Earth isn't round. The Earth is not flat. No. It ain't the Matrix like some people are saying. Because it's just hilarious what people think. Look for the day that it comes out to the truth. The day that it comes out. Especially on how big the Earth is. Because we've been lied to for so damn long. On how big the Earth is, and if it's round, or if it's flat, and it's back and forth. You'll go from flat to round again, and something else. But no. I believe the Earth is somewhat different than what the moon. You see the moon, so you see the sun, and you see through microscopes of these other planets. Do I believe they're like, no, because each planet is different. If you really pay attention, each planet is different. But understand, you're being lied to, and you're allowed to think and say what you want when it's wrong. But if you did come out with the truth and 100% real, it would be scrubbed off the internet faster than you could think, completely off the internet. So obviously what I'm trying to tell you is every theory that you're saying or believing that hasn't been scrubbed is a lie. Put truth out there and watch it get scrubbed. You see it every time. Every time something happens or a truth gets out there, that's scrubbed and the person is scrubbed. Am I lying? No. Obviously not. Really think about it, people. Really think about it. Because the facts will eventually one day come out. Maybe not all. But that's why we have us whistleblowers. That's why we wait now. We finally have the UFOs and extraterrestrials being released. Do I believe everything will be released in the United States now? I, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think a lot of things they want to keep secret. And for good reason, because they've been lying and working with them and doing evil things. So that's just facts. Along with the giants, the Nephilim, evil creatures. They are indeed. But that's not all, folks. There is a lot more creatures and things out there that you just were told was folklore and mythology, but it's a proven fact that it exists. And not only I, but others, my sources, will be coming on here. Like I said, once my channel gets up to a lot of subscribers, then we can get on the ball with that. But we got to move it, man. Time is short, time's a ticket. You want the truth? Come and get it. So, I appreciate you being here with Undercover with Jay. I appreciate all of you that are subscribed because you're getting the truth. So, take it easy. Have a beautiful, wonderful day. Keep hydrated and stay out that heat. God bless.